So the big conversation around PSG at the moment, on top of how brilliant a team they are, is the amount of minutes that their big players have played this season. The conversation is circulating that PSG's players are able to arrive fresher towards the end of the season and play with more intensity because they're not being taxed as much, having missed a lot of Ligue 1 games. And I think outside of Warren Zaire-Emery, not one of their starters has played more than 30 league games. Where do you stand on this?
It's such a tough one because then it starts getting into a conversation about league strength. Is it because they are not taking Liga as serious? Is it because they know they're always going to win Liga, that maybe they can rest players, maybe they can rotate more than an Arsenal, more than the English teams where it's...
Funnily enough, their league is incredibly tight at the moment.
That's what I was going to say, right? And it's funny because I remember when you go back in the day, there was always the conversation for English teams will go into the Champions League not fresh because they don't have a winter break. When you look at Bayern, we look at PSGs, all these teams had winter breaks. But there was also another caveat to that where people used to say these teams win the league so early that when they get into the Champions League, there's no intensity. They're not tested. That used to be a narrative. So now because PSG are so brilliant, we're now looking at them and saying, oh, but let's dissect their minutes. I think you can't have it both ways. Does it make them a bit more rusty or does it make them fresher? I think you can go either way.
Okay, I think the conversation about freshness definitely matters. Because when I look at Arsenal right now, at this point in the season, they're on their knees. I think they're running on fumes compared to PSG, who look at their absolute best and freshest when the business games kind of come in. However, while it plays a part, it's ultimately not the only reason why PSG play this way. I think the bigger conversation is poor recruitment from the Premier League. The Premier League is the richest league in the world, and the end product in their attack is very average. The only team in England that can even chat to Bayern, Barca, PSG is Manchester City's front line. And that's because they've invested well and recruited smartly. And you know the funniest thing about all of this is no one used to say Manchester City and Liverpool towards the business end of the season were tired. So yes, freshness definitely matters. If you're good players and you have a boost of energy, hey, it counts. But at the end of the day, the Premier League has to take a cold, hard look at the way they've recruited over the last few years and question, is the best elite attacking talent playing in our league or are they playing abroad?